Phillips.
And I'm your other co-host, Emily Norton. Today we are going to tackle de-stressing and impressing your professors. First of all, I would like to remind everyone watching online or at home to take a picture of you watching ATU Live right now, post it on your Instagram story, and tag us at ATU Res Live for a chance to win a prize at the end of the show.
Well, Emily, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. I have never had a midterm before.
What?
Yep, until tomorrow. I have my first midterm tomorrow, and guess what class is in?
Swimming?
She only guessed it because I told her earlier. Yes, this is my swim class, so that's my first midterm tomorrow, and I was a little stressed about it, but I'm going to go ahead and give you one of my tips that I use to de-stress. If you watch any of our other episodes, I say this all the time. If you see me in Russellville driving around with music blasting and I'm singing to the top of my lungs, luckily I can actually kind of carry a tone. That's how I de-stress. So if I'm singing, it's usually to improve my mood or to de-stress. That's one of my tips to de-stressing. If you like music, go to your car, drive around. There's something about driving in the car, listening to some music that kind of just soothes me. So that's my tip if you really like music.
Well, you're really lucky because I have had many midterms. And what I like to do when I'm stressed, whether it's when I'm having a midterm or when it's finals week or just any other day of the week, the first thing that I do is I really love to get outside and I love going outdoors. So Bonadilla is like what I'm obsessed with right now, the hiking trail, so nice. You know, everybody knows Mount Nebo, all the places like that. And then second of all, call your mom. Call your mom.
Yes, call
Everybody
your grandma.
needs to call your mom. After the show, call your mom, call your grandma. So that is my advice. But I still feel like we need some more input.
Yeah.
Some more advice. So how about we ask for some help from our audience members?
All right. So do any of y'all have any tips on how to de-stress before midterms, finals, or when you have a lot of homework during the week? How do you de-stress?
If you volunteer, you get a prize maybe at the end of the show. Yes.
All right.
Come on.
Come on. You can stay right here.
Here, try to speak into my mind. Come here.
All right. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Just kidding.
What is it? Just how to de-stress?
Yep.
How do you de-stress?
Personally, I like to play Tetris.
Ooh.
It's just a simple game. It gets my mind focused on one particular thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you have anybody else? Thank you. Anybody else that wants to share any of their de-stress tips?
Do we have any volunteers? All right.
Okay.
There you go. Come on up.
And what's your name before you get started?
My name's Trevor.
Okay, Trevor.
Yeah. One of my ways I like to de-stress is, like you said earlier, I like to go outside. It's just something about like being outside that just makes me not be stressful. Mm-hmm. But that's just how I de-stress is being outside. So.
Yeah,
awesome.
I agree.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
And this is a perfect time to go outside in a hammock with a nice little blanket.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not too hot. It's getting a little cold, but not
Anybody else?
Any other volunteers?
The first person from the audience, his name was?
Keegan.
Keegan's here all the time watching us on NT Live, so we really appreciate your support.
So thank you, Keegan, and thank you, Trevor. Do we have any other volunteers? All right. Well,
Anybody else?
Keegan and Trevor are the only ones that get the chance to win the prize.
All right, well, those were some good tips. We are joined today by our guest audience members from the fishing team, hospitality team, and Brown and Basswell Residence Hall.
Awesome.
Do we have anybody from those? One? Woo! Woo! What's your name?
I'm David.
David, thank you for joining us today. Oh. Haley and Trevor. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
All right. Well, looks like we have a stress-free audience.
I agree. We're trying to get there. Once we get past these midterms, we'll definitely be there.
Yes.
All right. So now that we've learned how to de-stress, I think it's time that we learn how to impress. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to our guest speakers, Dr. Dykema and Dr. Toner, who are going to be giving us some tips on how to impress those professors. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Doing great.
right. Thank you both so much for joining us. If you'd like to go ahead and start by just introducing yourself and what department that you work in.
Okay, I'm Brendan Toner. I teach political science. I'm in the Department of History and Political Science.
There you go.
And I'm Dr. Peter Dykema. I teach history and also the same department, Department of History and Political Science.
So y'all know each other pretty well.
He used to be my boss.
Well, small world. So we're going to ask you guys some de-stressing questions to start off before we get into the meat and potatoes. So how do you guys know when you're stressed? How can you recognize that?
I'm always stressed. I'm stressed being here now.
I
I'm probably
feel
the wrong
that.
person to ask about being de-stressed type thing.
I feel that.
Well, I guess for me, I mean, yeah, I sweat. I start obsessing about things when I'm stressed. And I also, right where my shoulders and my spine, right at that cross, I get a nice little knot sometimes when I'm stressed.
Yep.
Okay. So, what types of things stress you out, or have you noticed that stresses you out?
Everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, just like problems that you can't solve, and oftentimes that's dealing with other people that are kind of creating silly problems that can be very stressful.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like one of the things I always worry about is like what other people think about me. So I'm like, oh my god, people are gonna like trash me on YouTube tonight. So, but I'm like, it's one of the, like I was telling you the quote before. It's like I love this quote because it's like never worry what people think about you because nobody ever thinks about you. So like I feel like so everybody always freaks out about like what other people think about them. It's like well nobody thinks about you anyway. So
And that, folks, is Dr. Toner. If you've never had Dr. Toner, I strongly encourage you to go ahead and take his class. You'll learn a boatload of information, but also have a good time. So,
Yes, that's actually a good segue. Do you guys have any classes for the upcoming semesters that you'd like to plug that you're teaching?
Well, I've got a history of Christianity course in spring. That's always a very popular course. So that's one that I'm teaching in the spring.
First kind of plug my pre-law meeting.
Okay.
So we got a pre-law meeting on Monday, October the 18th at 6:30 in Rose Green 275. Free pizza. And I teach a class on the LSAT in the spring, Principles of Legal Study and Judicial Politics, also in the spring.
I've heard about that class.
There you go. Dr. Toner. Look him up. Find his classes.
And he's also teaching a grad course in the spring.
Ooh.
So for all you grad students out there, yes.
Nice. So last question about de-stressing. Who do you call when you de-stress? Who do you go to when you're stressed?
I would say my family, but I think we stress each other out just as much.
Aren't you Irish Catholic?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I certainly, there's no one that I call up when I'm stressed. I have pets, and so certainly we have cats right now. We have dogs and cats. But right now, cats are they can sit on your chest and purr, and that's
Oh, that's so sweet. All right, so let's segue into
Yes,
the real questions.
the
How
important
do we
thing.
Impress you as professors.
That's what we want to know. So, right off the bat, is it important to call you doctor?
Oh, you want to go?
Sure, I think so.
Yes.
I think students should call their professors either doctor or professor.
Mhm.
They're both fine. Now, let me say that 5 years from now, after the student graduates, and if I'm playing a church softball game against them, then that has nothing to do with the job. But right now, I'm teaching class, I'm giving the grade, they're learning from me. So yeah, I think in the classroom, if the goal is to impress your professors and not not show disrespect, then that's the good way to go.
I definitely agree with that.
So I would say, like, I personally, whatever people call me, but I agree with what he's saying because it's always better to be formal and then go to informal as opposed to start out informal because that can lead to some problems. So it's better to always start at formal. And then if the professor's cool with it, then whatever. But like, it's always better to start off, I think, formally as opposed to informally, I think.
Yeah. And then that's also something that y'all worked very hard for.
Yes. Your title is something you worked very hard for, and it's a sign of respect. And you are our authorities in the classroom, and so I think it's very important. So we were talking about being formal and informal, being respectful. What are some other things that students can do to set themselves apart from other students in your classroom?
You can go with it.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, I think, look, the typical advice is always sit in the front row and talk to your professors, try to get to know them a little bit. But that really does work. I mean, if you can build up any kind of relationship with your professor, that cannot hurt. And so students who talk to me after class, who come to my office hours, even if that relationship is very small, but it's better than, that person who sits in the fifth row by the window, who I can barely remember their name. So, yeah.
Yeah, I basically agree with what he's saying. And like the other thing I would say too is I always say a way to not impress people is like at the end of the semester, if you have a question about your grade, it's one of my pet. And most people know to do this, but like it's one thing to ask about your grade, but if you get like 5 or 6 questions about the grade over and over and over and over again, that to me that's like annoying.
Yes.
Just my opinion.
Okay. All right, and then you talked about names, but Dr. Toner, you're pretty good with names, I remember.
You are very good with names, Dr.
Well,
Toner.
but I will say this: it's easy. Like I have it figured out, so like where people sit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough if I'm like out there and somebody like says hello. So sometimes it'll take me like a minute or two to recognize who the person is. I'm just saying,
Gotcha.
like, especially now with the mask, it's like
Yes.
very
That's
difficult.
right.
I'm in Dr. Toner's class right now, and it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, and literally we started school on a Monday or a Wednesday, but the next time we came to class, he pulls out his sheet and names every single one of us and points to us and knows every single one of our names. I was so amazed by that because we had a really big class.
Well, it's like a puzzle. It's like this is like as I get older, it's like one of the things I'll know when I'm like losing it because I won't be able to do that anymore. So it's like for me, it's like a little memory thing to like.
Okay.
It was very impressive.
All right, so we talked about students visiting office hours, but just to touch on it a little bit more, you do both recommend that students attend your office hours?
And what do you want to talk about if we were to come talk to you during your office hours?
Well, usually especially this time of year, we're still in the first 6 or 8 weeks of the semester. I'll talk to them just a little bit of where you're from and what's your major and how are you doing at Tech, just kind of to break the ice. Obviously, we want to address whatever they're there for, problems they're having in the class. But for me, I would love to have more students attend my office hours, and very few do, and it would be nice if more did. But to me, it also just it does break down that distance a little bit. That my office is not a jail cell, it's not a torture chamber. It's just an office, and we can talk about and the student will feel more comfortable, and that'll give them more confidence in the class. And that all of that's aside from the actual issues that we talk about. So yeah, and Keegan Dye probably needs to see me in my office.
Ooh.
What about you, Dr. Toner?
Yeah, so I would agree with that. And so like but the only good thing about people not coming, I do get to catch up on work sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is good for people to come by and if they have questions and stuff. So.
So,
and I'll say this, Dr. Toner probably has more students visit him in his office than anyone, at least on our floor.
Really?
The students are very comfortable with Dr. Toner. So.
Yeah, I can feel that. He's a very easy professor to get to know. I definitely recommend taking his classes. Well, do you guys have any studying like kind of hacks or like tips for your class that maybe, you did back in school that would help other students?
I would say like one of the things is, and I know people do this all the time, everybody crams at the last minute for stuff, but it'd probably be better if you just took an hour every day to like, because I always deal with people who take the LSAT, and like if they just study like an hour every day for like a month or so, I think it'd be better than like 8 hours of studying like the night before. And it's probably healthier too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I have no cute or easy hacks. I could be a little snarky and say read the book, take notes, review your notes, those sorts of things. But no real tricks. It's about time, and it's probably like Brendan just said about consistently studying, because for me, when you come to the class for the test, you need to know the material, but you also need to be comfortable. If you know the material but are also stressing out, that'll block it all, and you won't be able to answer the questions. So but if you put in the time ahead of time, then you should be comfortable and confident.
I agree.
All right. So, what is your favorite part of teaching at Arkansas Tech University?
The check.
Oh!
I knew you were going to say
That's
that.
a good answer. No.
Hey, ATU.
No, it's like but actually it is interesting because it's like a challenge because every day it's like you have to like in a way prove yourself all over again.
Mhm.
Because like, and then sometimes the worst classes are the most interesting. Like I had a class that like 5 minutes in people I get to tell like they're not into what I'm talking about, and so it's like a challenge for me to try to like
Bring them back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, people, that is the big thing. And I very much enjoy the students. I enjoy my colleagues. I also, we spend a lot of time interacting with staff as well. And so between the faculty, colleagues, students, and staff, just establishing relationships and learning and talking about ideas, that's all good, but also just having fun with people.
Okay.
I get that. So we all know about Rate My Professor, the website. What is the best rating? It could be on Rate My Professor, or it could be, from a supervisor, or I'm sure
Eval.
you guys have the evaluations. What's the best rating that you've ever received, or just a memorable one?
Well, I used to get a lot of chili peppers on Rate My Professor, but I don't think I've gotten any chili peppers.
What's a
recently.
chili pepper?
Well, okay, maybe it's not there anymore, but there used to be a hotness feature. If the student thinks the professors are good looking, then you would.
Are you?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wow.
It was on there for 20 years.
And you got a lot of chili peppers?
I used to get a lot.
Okay.
Of chili peppers. No,
I don't think it's on there anymore.
No. Yeah. So that was always interesting to get those sorts of praise back in the day.
I think I've talked about this in class. I stopped reading it because
Mm-hmm.
whether it's too good or too bad, and like I think somebody wrote something mean about me once, and it just like I was depressed for like weeks,
Yeah.
and so like I stopped reading it kind of thing because sorry, but yeah, it's like one of those things where like, but even if it's too good, it's like you don't want to get caught up in whether it's too good or too. I don't even like reading my regular evaluations anyway.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness. It's not working right now. I was gonna try to go look and see.
Oh, why not?
I'm not
You
sure.
can find it. Here, I'll keep talking. You find it. So if you had to go on Rate My Professor and rate yourselves, what would your ratings look like? You can add the chili peppers or not if you'd like to.
I wouldn't rate myself. Like I just wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Well, you get a lot of you do get a lot of very fun ones on there, no doubt about that. I mean, some students, they get very exuberant and give you over the top ratings, and that's always fun. But I guess tough but fair would be because you can tell. I mean, again, I think it still has it. The Rate My Professor also has an easy rating, easy
Yes.
or hard.
I think it rates on easiness, whether or not you would, level of difficulty, and what you would take. Would you take it again?
Yeah, and I mean,
Mhm.
I at least, I notice some of the professors who have, if they have a very high popularity scale, but also the class is also rated as really easy, then that's somewhat skeptical. A little skepticism comes in.
Right.
So I'm always happy that my classes are rated as tough but fair, and that's usually what I get to. So that's, I mean, that makes me feel comfortable.
Okay.
Well, you both have amazing Rate My
Yes.
Professors. Dr. Dykema, you have a 4.4 out of 5. And Dr. Toner, you have a 4.5 out of 5.
And Dr. Dykema, it says, Dr. Dykema is great. It's a challenge, but you will take a lot away from this class. Put in your side of the effort, and he will put in his.
Which is very true.
And then Dr. Toner, let's see. Where did I put
Where'd
it?
you put it?
Oh, here it is.
You screenshotted it?
All right. Okay.
Dr. Toner, someone said, I was always ready to go to class. He is very energetic and always super interesting to listen to. If you go to every class, then you get extra points at the end of the semester. Easy to get an A, just go to class. No homework, just one long paper.
Although I will say this, because of COVID, I had to stop doing it.
Aww.
All right. Let's get back to our questions.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so next, the last question. Please tell us your ideal student. And this, I think this is the kicker. This is what we all need to know.
What would an ideal student look like and act like?
Well, okay, so somebody who certainly shows an interest in the material, shows an interest in the class. Now, and even if it's not their major or something, it's nice to see the students who are engaged, and so who are doing more than just, who are actually, they want to learn something and they want to figure out ways that this course could have some practical use for them and advance them somewhere in their life. It's nice to see students grow, okay, over time. And so, one of the questions you had was, who's your favorite student? And I wouldn't have named a name, but some of my favorite students are students who got a D on the first exam and a C+ on the second exam and a B+ on the third exam. Just because, and you could tell they came to office hours, they asked questions, they put in the time and effort, and they improved. And those are the ones that you feel really good about at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show to talk to us today and lending us your knowledge. Everyone, make sure you stick around for the end of the show where we'll be playing a game with these two professors here. Next up, we have Bryan Cook and Faith Johnson to speak to us about health and safety checks and home improvement. We'll see y'all here shortly.
Thank you.
Hey,
How are
Faith.
y'all doing today?
I brought my phone because it has valuable information.
Oh, yeah.
Right, no, you're fine.
Perfect. Hey, Bryan, how are you?
All right.
I was better 10 minutes ago. I was a back of the row student. So
Oh, no.
just a fading memory, my professor.
Well, front row, here you are. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. Faith, I understand that you work for Residence Life as an operations assistant. So what is home improvement? I don't know what that is. You have to tell me about it, and why is it important?
So Home Improvement is a TV show featuring Tim Allen.
I was like, what? Now another TV show?
It is actually a TV show, but it is also just, okay, I'm going to read my boss's words because it's very well written. It is an initiative to help make sure students have the best possible environment to succeed while living on campus. Our goal is to be as proactive as possible to resolve issues before they become larger issues. So it's taking place in conjunction with health and safety checks, basically just to make sure that students are aware that we can handle a lot of the smaller scale maintenance issues in a really timely manner, just so that they don't have to sit around waiting like, oh my gosh, my shower head's broken. I guess I'll put in a maintenance request and wait 2 weeks.
Right.
Maintenance is not always the quickest. They just have a lot going on. It's a big campus. We have 12 residence halls. And so the whole goal for home improvement is just to solve those smaller issues and give residents a little bit more peace of mind about their living space.
Right.
Well, I definitely appreciate y'all for taking the initiative to come up with something like that and noticing that there was a problem with maintenance requests and getting everybody's maintenance requests filled in a timely manner. So we definitely appreciate y'all for that.
For sure. So speaking of home improvements, a little birdie told me that we are going to have some health and safety checks in our residence halls this week. So right now we have Bryan Cook, Resident Director of University Commons and Stadium Suites, here to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so the safety and healthy checks, sometimes called safety and security checks, we've done them every year in the past before. We skipped last year for COVID, we were kind of distancing ourselves. But they happen twice a year, once a semester. So it's the RAs pairing up. Sometimes they go in with their RD, and what they do is they kind of just select a time within the next few weeks. I believe they're going on now until October 14th, which I believe is the day of fall break starts at 5 p.m. that day. So the RAs will come in with a checklist. They're just looking to make sure that the fire alarm is working. They're checking the blinds, making sure the windows are all good, and then just checking to make sure you don't have any prohibited items or anything that might be a hazard to your health. So they're checking for cleanliness, making sure that the bathrooms or even just your room is okay, things like that. They're just trying to make sure that you're being safe in your room and making sure that everybody else is staying safe at the same time.
Well, I would definitely like to say Bryan and Faith came ready to tell us about the information.
They sure
Because
did.
all of the questions we were going to ask them, they have already answered.
Yes.
But once again, I would definitely like to say thank you to Residence Life and operations staff, our resident directors, RAs. They put in a lot of work in the behind the scenes, especially those
do.
resident directors and RAs. The housing ambassadors, all of them put in a lot of work. So we just want to take a minute to appreciate them. So
Yes.
round of applause to all of them.
Thank all of y'all.
But thank y'all so much for joining us. Is there anything else that y'all want to tell us about the home improvements or health and safety checks?
So I just have a list of like things that we are able to fix.
Okay.
That I would love to put out there, just so that students are aware of like, okay, maybe they can't come and like fix an electrical issue because we don't deal with electrical, but we can deal with light bulbs, drawers, light shades / glass globes, bed heights, clogs. I have unclogged more toilets in my life. Probably most people in this room, but that's okay because that's my job. So anything to do with the bathroom a lot of times. So your sink, your toilet, your fixtures, so like your toilet paper holder, your towel bar, shower heads. And then, like I said, just put it in anyways. And then we can kind of see if we can do it. The form is in RoomPact. I don't know if you know what that is, but you can just go to roompact.com, log in with your tech email, and it should say home improvement form. And that's where you'll go and give us as much information as possible. And we'll probably be out in the next couple of days to try and address that issue for you.
Perfect. Thank you so
All
much.
righty. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. Now, how about we invite our professors back so we can get started with the game?
Woohoo! That's the best way to de-stress.
All right. Also, we just want to remind everybody that is watching, whether you're here in the student union or you're watching online, to take a picture of the set, either whether you're here in person or watching on your computer screen, and tag us on Instagram on your story to be entered in to win a chance to win a prize at the end of the show that we'll announce.
Yes, and tag us at ATU Res Live, and it's that easy. You can win a prize.
Yep.
So, now back to our game, and we are here back with our professors. So, the name of the game is Are You Smarter Than a College Student?
Are y'all ready for this? Okay.
Dr. Toner, it is alleged that you are the king of the honorary Gen Z. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, we are going to ask you guys some Gen Z slang, and it's simple. Just the first person with the correct answer gets the point. Okay. So, LeBron, if you want to start us off.
All right. What is the term for when someone gets socially shunned for their words or actions? A, getting pwned. B, getting
Dubbed.
or C, getting
Canceled.
I'd say it's canceled.
See.
Ding, ding.
Woo, okay.
I thought we were both supposed to. Okay.
Oh no, the first person.
First person. It's a race. All right.
Yes.
So we
So
have 1
1 point.
for Dr. Dykema. All right. Number 2. Which of the following would be considered cap? A. Dr. Toner is a history professor. B. LeBron is a great co-host. And C. ATU Live is a Residence Live talk show.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
Cap is something that is not true. Dr. Toner is not a history professor. He is a political science professor. All right.
All right.
All tied up.
Number 3. If I said LeBron is about to catch these hands, what would I mean?
If I
A.
said that.
LeBron is hungry. B. LeBron is getting good grades. Or C. LeBron and I are about to fight.
I guess maybe C, that you're about to fight.
Ding, ding,
All right,
ding,
that
ding,
is
ding.
correct.
All right. Who is Charlie D'Amelio? A YouTuber. B, a K-pop star. Or C, a TikTok influencer.
Okay.
And
TikTok influence.
ding!
Okay.
Charlie D'Amelio is a TikTok influencer. So what is that?
Okay. Oh, it's a tie.
No, it's 3-1. He's winning.
Oh, wait. I can't see then. Okay.
Oh, they gave me that one. Okay.
2-2?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, 2. Number 5. What does GOAT stand for?
Greatest of all time.
Oh, dang!
Oh, okay. I think we should give that to both of them.
All right, we'll give the point to both of them. All right, so if I stopped showing up to Dr. Toner's class, what have I done to him? Have I A, dubbed him, B, ghosted him, or C, capped him?
Ghosted.
Dr. Toner got it. I've ghosted him.
All right. What does FOMO stand for? A, fighting on my opponent. B, fear of missing out. Or C, fear of making out.
Ding, 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 ding. FOMO, fear of missing out. All right.
All right.
This
You
is
should know this
not-
one, Dr. Dykema.
This is not a, hard word for word. We just need a general description. Define glow up.
Define glow up.
Glow up. What is a glow up? Ooh, we've got him with this one.
I do not know. I think I've heard it, but I can't.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Dr. Toner?
I have no idea.
Does anyone else want to tell us what glow up means?
Nobody?
Come on.
All right.
You're David, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll say an ugly baby turned into a whole bunch of chili peppers.
Oh, okay.
It's when you gain a bunch of chili peppers, pretty much. You were once ugly, and now you're not.
All right.
You have grown up.
All right, next. Yeah, fill in the blank. I'm a little lad who loves berries and
Okay, say that again.
I'm a little lad who loves berries and blank.
I'm a little lad who loves berries and blank. Somebody say it.
Cream!
I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. Okay. This is number 10, and it's worth 5 points. So it could end the game.
Oh, exciting.
Okay. Do the hand-arm motion for the term sheesh.
Oh, wait, I know. I think it's like this.
You have to use one hand and your arm. Sheesh. Everybody do it. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
You got close enough.
You got
Dr.
close
Dykema.
enough.
We'll give it to
David
you.
Byrne stopped making sense. He did that.
Well, good job. We will have a prize for the winner. Do we have a winner? Drum roll.
Dr. Dykema got 5 points for that last one.
Dr. Dykema.
He won.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Dykema.
He got 5 points for the last question.
Thank you both so much for joining us tonight and giving us some tips on how to impress you and entertaining us for the game.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, this is my least favorite part of the show, y'all. We have to wrap it up. LeBron, before we go, would you like to select our prize winner from our volunteers and those who tagged us in their stories?
Yes. I don't know where my phone is, though. Oh.
Are we doing one prize winner from the volunteers and one prize winner from the stories?
Let's see here.
Yes. All right.
Hopefully Instagram isn't down.
From our from our Instagram stories.
Okay, maybe Instagram is still down because it's not on my phone. Do we have somebody from Instagram? All right.
We will contact you afterwards.
Okay.
Andrea Amador.
Andrea Amador. Oh, she's actually here.
Congratulations.
All right, so that is
Stay
the
after,
winner.
We can give you a prize.
Yes, please stay
So,
after.
Next week, do you want to pick one from our volunteers?
Yes.
We had Keegan and we had Trevor, correct?
And David.
That's right. Keegan.
They're all winners. Woo!
Yes. Congratulations. All right, remember, show up or tune in next week where we were going to discuss student staff recruitment. Student staff from different positions are going to join us to answer all of you guys' questions about residence life.
All right. You know what time it is. It's not game time for Song Association, but we're going to start back a segment that we started on the first season of ATU Live, which is a cheer from the one and only Bryan Cook. So today's cheer is going to be the traditional ATU. So with the motions, ATU. You ready? Let's get as loud as we can.
Let's go.
All right. All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to ATU Live, and we look forward to seeing y'all next Tuesday here in the Student Union or on YouTube or Instagram. We'll see you then. Have a good one.